Awaken your inner strength. Invoke the Lion of Judah for protection and guidance today. I never expected a single dream to change everything, but that night, something ancient stirred within me. The air crackled with energy, and the shadows danced as if they were alive. I felt it deep in my bonisa roar, waiting to be unleashed. I had been lost, wandering through everyday tasks, my heart heavy with doubt, seeking something more, something greater. I had a hunger for truth, but it felt so far away. That evening, I stumbled upon a faded amulet in my grandmother's attic. Intricate carvings of a lion surrounded by golden rays, glinting in the dim light. It whispered secrets of old. My fingers brushed against it, and the world fell silent. I closed my eyes, and suddenly I saw the lion, a powerful creature, eyes ablaze, standing on a distant mountain peak. I felt his strength pulse through me. But why? What was he trying to tell me? Outside, the moon cast an eerie glow, illuminating the path to my front door. I stepped outside, the chill of the night wrapping around me like a shroud. The leaves rustled, whispering tales only the wind could understand. I searched the sky for answers. Was this lion my protector? My guide? What was I supposed to do with this energy surging within me? Questions pounded in my mind like a war drum. The universe was stretching, revealing threads of possibility, but none of it made sense. I watched a shooting star ignite the sky, a sign maybe? My heart raced. I could feel something shifting, the fabric of reality bending. And just as quickly, everything went dark. The silence enveloped me like a thick fog. I strained my ears for any sound, but all I heard was my breath hitching in my throat. Was it fear? Or was it the unmistakable taste of adventure? Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the shadows, a foreboding sound that made my skin prickle. Was it a warning? Or a welcome? Either way, I felt a rush of energy, my heart hammering in my chest. What lay ahead? A path shrouded in mystery sharpened before my eyes. The lion's presence hung heavily in the air, both exhilarating and terrifying. I stood there, frozen in the thick of uncertainty, ready to uncover my destiny. But what did the lion truly want from me? Would I succumb to the fear, or could I awaken my inner strength? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The darkness began to pulse around me, a living entity that thrummed with energy and promise. The growl lingered in the air, resonating within the depths of my soul, and I instinctively knew this was a threshold I had crossed. The weight of uncertainty pressed against me, but it was also suffused with the thrill of unsung adventures awaiting that I took a tentative step forward. The crunch of gravel beneath my feet breaking the stillness of the night. The air felt charged, ripe with the electric pulse of new possibilities. As I ventured deeper, the moonlight unveiled a narrow path through the trees, flickering shadows weaving stories I was yet to understand. What would I find at the end of this road? More questions? More revelations. As I walked, the wind carried whispers, fragments of thoughts that wrapped around my mind like tendrils of smoke. Seek the truth within, it seemed to beckon, urging me deeper into the recesses of my being. The amulet around my neck felt heavier, a comforting weight that grounded me amidst the swirling unknown. I could almost hear the lion's heartbeat echoing in harmony with mine, as if it were guiding me through the dark woods of my own psyche. After what felt like hours, I reached a small, secluded clearing, bathed in silvery light. In the center, a stone altar stood, overgrown with moss and vines, the remnants of what looked like ancient rituals. A myriad of fleeting images danced across my vision. People gathered, fires flickering, prayers rising to the stars. Could this altar be a place of power? A conduit for the universe to speak through me? Cautiously, I approached. As I neared it, I felt an undeniable pull, an invitation laden with urgency. I placed my palm against the cold stone surface, and in that moment, a wave of warmth surged through me. erupting like a tide of forgotten memories. Visions flooded my mind of ancestors I had never met, guiding spirits long forgotten. Their faces glimmered like stars, and for a fleeting moment, I felt their love enveloping me, strong and unwavering. But with that warmth came an inexplicable sorrow. Why had they left me? What darkness had they known? I closed my eyes, allowing the memories to wash over me, and suddenly, I could hear their voices, piecing together fragments of wisdom lost in time. Each word a reminder, a lesson in resilience, in strength, and in the fierce grace of vulnerability. Embrace your roar, one voice whispered, echoing the growl that had preceded my journey. That roar was a catalyst, and I could feel it ready to escape from the confines of my heart. The lion within me was restless, pushing against the barriers I had erected over the years. The fear that had held me captive began to feel insignificant in the face of this ancient power. Then as I stood there, enveloped in the ethereal glow of the moonlight and the past, a shadow skated across the edge of my vision. I turned to see a figure emerging from the woods, tall and imposing, yet cloaked in a robe of stars. My breath caught in my throat. Could this be the guardian I had been seeking? Who are you? I called out, my voice trembling with uncertainty. That I am the keeper of stories, the figure replied, his voice resonating like rolling thunder. I have come to remind you of your journey. The lion beckons you to uncover your truth, but know this: every strength has its shadow. His words hung in the air, stirring questions I had not yet contemplated. What shadows lay hidden within my own strength? What fears would I have to face on this journey? As he stepped closer, I was met with eyes that shimmered like opals, filled with knowledge and depth. Your curiosity is your compass. Seek the light within the shadows, he advised, before fading back into the night, leaving me in a whirlpool of thoughts and emotions. Alone once more in that sacred space, I grappled with the magnitude of his message. There was a path ahead, veiled in the duality of light and darkness. How could I navigate this tangle of strength and fear? With each breath, I summoned the fire within, that lion's roar rising in my throat, ready to be unleashed. But more questions simmered just beneath the surface. What truths would I uncover? Which shadows must I confront? The adventure had just begun, and the next step loomed before me, cloaked in mystery. What whispers of my heart would guide me deeper into the unknown? Was I truly ready to awaken my inner strength and face whatever lay ahead? The forest felt alive as I stood in the clearing, the vibrations of the ancient altar still pulsing through my hand. The keeper of stories had revealed the intricate web spun between light and shadow, urging me to delve deeper into the very fabric of my being. Hair prickling with anticipation, I took a moment to absorb the enormity of the journey ahead. The lion's heart within me roared for release, yet its power was intertwined with the shadows of my past. I closed my eyes, allowing fragments of the keeper's wisdom to settle into my spirit. Seek the light within the shadows, his voice murmured again, offering solace yet eliciting unease. What light could possibly exist in the recesses of my fears? The notion of facing the hidden seemed daunting, but I felt an unshakable hunger for truth pulsing beneath my skin. As the moon continued its ascent, illuminating the clearing, I sensed a shift in the air around me, a rustling of branches, the soft padding of unseen feet. Curiosity stirred within, urging me to embrace the unknown. I stepped away from the altar, setting out on a path less traveled. Each step felt like an unveiling, a peeling back of layers that had masked my essence for too long. Venturing deeper into the woods, I soon discovered an array of crystals scattered along the ground, catching the moonlight and refracting it into brilliant colors. Drawn in, I knelt to examine them, feeling their coolness under my fingers. Each crystal seemed to hum with energy, vibrating with stories of their own journeys through time. I felt an overwhelming connection, as if each one was a shard of forgotten wisdom waiting to speak. In that moment, I was struck by a vision, a great lion emerging majestically from a tapestry of light, its eyes locking with mine. It was as if the guardian was reiterating his message. Your strength will soar once you embrace all that you are. Clutching a piece of amethyst, I closed my eyes again, seeking guidance. As I entered a meditative state, a cascade of emotions washed over me, fear of the unknown mixed with anticipation of discovery. Who would I become when the lion roared? Fear had long been a cloak that kept me hidden, but I now understood that my strength depended on unearthing the shadows I had avoided. A small, Mischievous wind swirled around me, teasing at my hair. Through that gentle caress, an echo of laughter reached my ears. I opened my eyes and turned, spotting a small figure perched on a low branch. It was a creature with fox-like features, dressed in colorful, patchwork garments. Its eyes sparkled with mischief. "Why do you linger here, seeker of truths?" It chimed, tilting its head curiously. "That I seek to awaken my inner strength," I replied, feeling both vulnerable and brave. The creature grinned knowingly. "Ah, the lion stirs within you. But remember, little seeker, strength is a delicate balance. It must never become arrogance. You wear a crown that is not solely yours." The air grew thick with realization. As the fox leapt gracefully from the branch to stand before me, its form shimmered, momentarily shifting into an array of golden light briefly resembling the lion I had envisioned. "To honor the lion, you must also honor the meekness within," it advised with a glimmer of solemnity in its gaze. "This meekness, it is the protective shadow of compassion," I whispered, the pieces of an intricate puzzle falling into place in my mind. Every experience, every encounter with fear had nudged me closer to understanding that my journey was not only about strength, but also about vulnerability and connection to others. Then, a memory flickered, a time when my voice failed in the face of conflict, a moment of silence that had cost me dearly. I clutched the amethyst tighter. "How do I nurture both the lion and the meek?" I asked, my heart yearning for clarity. The fox looked long into my eyes, its expression profound. "By embracing your truth. Seek the balance that feels most authentic to you." With that, the creature twirled and danced away, vanishing into the foliage, leaving behind echoes of laughter that resonated through the still night. With renewed purpose, I turned back toward the path ahead. My spirit hummed with anticipation as the lion's roar vibrated within, mingling with whispers of compassion. The responsibility of awakening both the strength and gentle softness felt daunting, but also thrilling. Carrying lessons from the keeper of stories and the playful wisdom of the fox gave me the courage to forge ahead. I was drawn toward the unknown, invigorated by the interwoven presence of light and shadow dancing within me. What other truths awaited me in this labyrinth of existence? What other encounters would guide me toward the harmonious balance I sought? Each step felt like a step toward unveiling deeper layers of my soul and facing the echoes of my past. The journey was far from complete, and I could only wonder what lay hidden just beyond my reach, cocooned in the mystery of my own heart. As I walked the winding path, the moonlight cast silvery patterns that danced upon the forest floor, guiding me deeper into the unknown. The comforting sounds of the forest enveloped me like a cloak. The rustling leaves, the distant call of an owl, the whisper of a brook flowing over stones. Each element seemed to recognize my presence, affirming that I was part of this grand tapestry of life. With the lessons of the keeper and the fox freshly etched in my mind, I pondered the duality within the lion and the meek. I breathed deeply, allowing the cool, fragrant air to fill my lungs. It was time to draw upon my courage and confront the shadows that lingered just out of sight. Just as I resolved to delve deeper, I stumbled upon a peculiar glade. In contrast to the lush greens surrounding it, this space was dominated by a circle of ancient stones, each adorned with intricate carvings depicting celestial bodies and flowing water. The stones radiated a palpable energy, as if they were charged by the emotions of countless seekers who had come before me. A feeling of reverence swept over me. This was a sacred site, a confluence of history and spirit. As I stepped into the circle, a rush of warmth enveloped me, and visions danced before my closed eyes. I could see my ancestors, their faces strong yet tender, each one facing struggles and conquests that contributed to the essence of who I was today. A sudden stillness fell, and from within that silence emerged a figure cloaked in soft light. The figure took form, revealing a woman with earthy features and wise eyes that sparkled like the stars above. "I am the spirit of your lineage," she said, her voice both gentle and commanding. "I have watched over you, guiding you through shadows." "Why do I struggle so?" I asked, my heart aching with the weight of generations. "Because the lion within you demands to be recognized not only for its strength, but for the legacy it carries. It echoes the triumphs and failures of those who came before," she replied, her gaze steadying me. "You are not alone in this journey. Your spirit is intertwined with those who walked before you. each challenge shaping your courage that I in her presence. I felt the pulse of his stormy triumphs, my failures the full spectrum of life. How can I honor this legacy? I asked, sensing a path unraveling before me. By living authentically, embracing both your power and your vulnerability. Every challenge a reminder of resilience. Every fear a whisper from the shadows, urging you to bring it into the light. As she spoke, flickers of memories surfaced, times when I hesitated, haunted by expectations. A once suppressed voice clamored to emerge, yet doubt muffled its call. I was reminded of the moments I chose silence over courage, the times I turned away when my spirit yearned for expression. Invoke the stories of your past, the woman urged, the weight of her words settling like dew upon my heart. Let them illuminate your journey forward. In honoring your fears, you may finally unleash the roar of the lion within. In that moment, I understood that my path was illuminated not just by strength, but by an unyielding embrace of the shadows. The profound balance I sought was rooted in understanding, acknowledging, and ultimately transforming those fears into sources of unparalleled strength. As the vision faded and I opened my eyes, the moon hung low in the sky, casting beams through the treetops like a heavenly spotlight. There was still so much I did not understand. What were the stories woven into the very fabric of my spirit that I had yet to uncover? I stepped out of the circle, the weight of the stones from the past resting lightly on my heart, and began to walk again. Each step carried with it the whispers of my lineage, propelling me toward the next chapter of my quest for unity between my inner lion and the nurturer within. What would the next encounter reveal about the strength waiting to roar within me? I felt the mysteries still lurking in the depths of my spirit, intertwining with the moonlit path, echoing the question, could I truly embrace the duality of my essence without fear or reservation? As I ventured further along the path, the moonlight shimmered through the trees, revealing a trail woven with dreams yet undreamed. Each step felt like a pilgrimage toward a deeper understanding of self, a gradual unveiling of not just who I was, but who I could become. The air was electric, tinged with the sweet scent of wildflowers and the cool, soothing breath of the evening breeze. The silence of the forest invited me to reflect on the lessons I had just learned. Could honoring my fears truly illuminate my path? The thought erupted within me like a spark, igniting a curiosity that surged with the rhythmic heartbeat of the earth itself. Who had I been dismissing within me? And what truths lay undiscovered beneath layers of expectation and doubt? As I continued deeper into the heart of this sacred wood, I stumbled upon another clearing, this one blanketed with soft moss and illuminated by a gentle cascade of light streaming from an ethereal source above. At the center stood a magnificent waterfall, its waters glimmering as they danced down the rocks. The sound was mesmerizing, a cascading melody that seemed to echo my very own soul's lament. Drawn towards the playful spray, I approached the water's edge, peering into its depths. To my astonishment, the reflection that met my gaze was not merely my own. Within the cascading ripples, I saw the myriad faces of my ancestors, each resonating with their own struggles and victories, their eyes filled with wisdom and warmth. It dawned on me that this place, the convergence of water and light, was a conduit of their wisdom, a sacred chalice holding centuries of truths that in that moment, I recalled the words of the spirit, the ones urging me to invoke my lineage. With each ripple in the water, I began to weave their stories into my own. I spoke aloud, unearthing the trials of my grandmother, who had faced unyielding odds to raise her family alone. The resilience of an uncle who had poured his heart into music, despite societal constraints. The unwavering strength of a mother who had navigated storms with grace. I breathed life into their legacies, and with every story shared, the pressure in my chest began to dissipate, replaced by an emerging sense of connection, my tale intertwining with theirs in an intricate dance. Suddenly, a gust of wind spiraled through the clearing, sending the mist from the waterfall swirling around me like an ethereal shroud. I closed my eyes, surrendering to its embrace, and in that dynamic flow, I felt a new presence, both heady and grounding. A large, majestic lion emerged from the watery mist, its mane like flames, fierce and divine. Its eyes locked onto mine, reflecting a deep understanding, coupling strength with gentleness. Embrace your roar, it rumbled, each word a tremor reverberating through my soul. For within every shared story lives the essence of strength. In facing your fears, you find liberation. And in liberation, authenticity blooms. Stunned yet exhilarated, I inhaled deeply. The lion's grace spoke to something deep within, a call to recognize the fears that shadowed my heart and transform them into the very strength I was seeking. How could I, a fragile seeker, mirror such glorious power? By being brave enough to expose your truth, to stand upon this sacred ground where lion and meek converge. Your journey will not always be comfortable, but it is in the unearthing of your vulnerability that you will discover purpose. The lion continued. What stories will you weave into your own? Who will you become if you allow the Lion of Judah to guide you? The weight of its inquiry pressed gently upon my chest, illuminating a vital truth with every pulse of my heartbeat. Here lay an invitation, an uncharted path inviting me to share my own truths, to turn my pain into a fire that would light my way. As the lion faded into the mist, I was left with echoes of its presence resonating in the hollow of my heart. Each ripple in the water whispered an unending question. What shadows remained that needed the fierce light of my recognition? What truths awaited their unveiling? With newfound purpose, I turned back toward the path, the vibrancy of the forest illuminating my way. I felt the moon rise higher, a guardian of secrets yet to be revealed, compelling me to courageously embrace my duality. Would I have the wisdom to seek not just the strength of the lion, but the courage to express the tender compassion of the nurturer within, and connect the two amidst the unfolding journey? The questions lingered, reverberating through the midnight air like the distant music of the brook, the unending dialogue of a soul in pursuit of its deep, hidden truths. As I ventured away from the waterfall, my heart swelled with the weight of revelation, each thump echoing the lion's charge to embrace my roar. The forest wrapped around me, a tapestry of whispers and shadows, as I navigated its winding paths. The air was thick with stories yet to be told, both of my lineage and my own unfolding narrative. With each step, I pondered the idea of vulnerability as strength and how the lion's presence had ignited a flame within me. What would it mean to fearlessly share my voice, to stand firmly upon the sacred ground of my identity? My thoughts danced with the exhilarating awareness of untold stories swelling just beneath the surface, ready to be brought forth into the light. Yet, the question lingered: what stories were worth sharing, and how would I summon the courage to tell them? As if in response to my internal quest, a sudden rustle echoed through the trees, drawing my attention. The stillness was shattered, and I froze, my heart racing with a mixture of apprehension and curiosity. Emerging from the foliage was a figure, delicate yet imposing and intricate, luminous fox with fur like sun-drenched leaves and eyes that sparkled with mischief and ancient wisdom. "Traveler," the fox intoned, its voice melodic and playful. "Have you come seeking answers, or merely to dance with the shadows of uncertainty?" There was an essence of lightness in its presence, as if it carried the secrets of transformation itself. "That I seek to understand my stories," I confessed, feeling oddly vulnerable before this embodiment of grace. "To share my truths, but am unsure how to begin." The fox's eyes twinkled knowingly. "Ah, but do remember, truth is seldom constructed in the rigid lines of clarity. It flows like a river, bending and carving its path through rock. Stories need not be perfect, only authentic. What stirs your heart? What echoes the lion's roar within?" I took a deep breath, allowing the fox's question to resonate. Suddenly, a flood of memories washed over me, moments of love and loss, of joy and despair, each one a potential thread in the tapestry of my narrative. Here, standing before the fox's keen gaze, I recognized a truth beyond my earlier contemplation, that the rawness of experience, both pain and beauty, must be embraced for authenticity to shine through. "What if my stories anger or alienate?" I murmured, fear creeping in like tendrils of fog. "Then they will be the tales of a brave soul, and those who are meant to hear them shall find connection in your rawness," the fox replied, gliding closer. "Your role is not to cater to every ear, but to honor your heart, which knows the rhythm of your truth." The word settled within me, stirring the embers of fear and longing alike. Was I ready to claim my experiences, to ignite the fires of liberation that could come from expression? What paths might unfold if I stepped into my authenticity, fully acknowledging the shadows of my past? As these thoughts coalesced, a flicker of movement caught my eye. A cluster of shimmering lights began to hover around us, flickering like will-o'-the-wisps in the twilight. Drawn to them, I felt a compulsion to follow their twinkle, my instincts guiding me forward. The fox trotted alongside me, its presence grounding yet playful. "You see," it whispered, "these lights are the souls of inspiration, manifestations of that which you have yet to discover about yourself. Let them guide you, not as destinations, but as reflections of possibilities." As we meandered deeper into the woods, I released lingering apprehensions, feeling the gentle embrace of the unknown beckoning me further. What stories would I gather in this journey with the lights and the fox? Would they reveal hidden aspects of my identity waiting to be embraced? My heart quickened, a realization brewing within me. Perhaps this dance with uncertainty was less about fear and more about becoming. Could the tales still to be woven become bridges to deeper understanding, both for myself and those willing to walk alongside me? As the ethereal orbs glimmered in droplets of moonlight, I understood that my journey was far from over, and the questions I pondered would only deepen with every step. The echo of the lion's presence harmonized with the fox's playful guidance, stirring imaginaries of who I might become if I dared to voice my truth. What wonders awaited me on the horizon as I ventured further? What secrets lingered beneath the surface of my own self, yearning for expression? With the flickering orbs of light winding through the forest, I noticed how the energy around me shifted, alive with possibilities. It felt as if the trees themselves held their breath in anticipation of what was to come. I followed the delicate dance of the lights, paying close attention to how they weaved through the branches and underbrush, and my heart began to resonate with the allure of discovery. "The lights," I murmured to the fox, "they feel alive, almost sentient. What do they want from me?" "There lies the essence of your journey. They illuminate paths obscured by doubts, revealing the regions of your heart still cloaked in shadow. Each light is a facet of your own call to embrace complexity rather than fear it," the fox replied, its voice soft yet punctuated with wisdom. "Will you invite them into your story?" I nodded, invigorated by the potentiality that pulsed around me. The idea of intertwined stories began to form in my mind, like threads weaving through the fabric of life. My experiences, both triumphs and trials, seemed to be scattered light fragments coalescing into a greater narrative, one that could inspire not only me but those willing to listen. With this newfound understanding deepening my resolve, I shifted my focus back to the lights, allowing my intuition to guide me closer. They fluttered around me playfully, casting soft, radiant glows that flickered in and out of existence with an enchanting rhythm. It was as if they were alive, playing with my spirit, pushing against the boundaries of my comfort zone. As if responding to my curiosity, one bold orb approached and hovered directly in front of my face, pulsating in a manner that drew me into a trance-like state. In that moment, it opened a doorway into my past. A series of images flashed before me, vivid and pulsating. Moments that had shaped my very essence. I saw the sorrow of childhood friendships lost, the elation of new beginnings, the bitter taste of regret intermingled with the sweet nectar of hope. Each flash held a lesson, engraved with emotive potency that stirred my heart into a deeper understanding. It was a kaleidoscope of the human experience, with each memory beckoning for attention and acknowledgement. "Every light reflects a truth you have yet to fully reconcile," the fox said, its gaze unwavering as it watched my reaction. "What does it feel like to embrace these fragments of self?" The warmth of the memories filled me with a sense of clarity. Yet another question rose like a tide within. How could I articulate these truths in a way that honored both my struggles and triumphs? Would the vulnerability that marked my story resonate with others or isolate me further? The tug of uncertainty was palpable, and I pondered how I might stoke the fiery passion that burned within me to share those stories. Each choice carried weight, yet also potential. The fox stepped closer, brushing against my leg as if sensing my internal struggle. "Memories may be ache or triumph, but when embraced, they become bridges to connection. Witness your stories, own them, and you shall find that strength is born not only from joy but from the communion of your humanness," it encouraged. Taking a deep, steadying breath, I leaned into the swirling truths held within the luminous lights. With each nostalgic breath, I felt shreds of fear loosen their grip, just a little. What if my past narratives weren't meant to be perfect stories of success, but rather the honest reflections of a journey fraught with lessons? Could it be that this was the core of my authenticity? As I continued along the path, the golden glimmers closed in, whispering once again of potential. Seek to uncover the links between your past and the stories waiting to unfold. For therein lies the pulse of the lion spirit within you, a force that craves to be known, not just by you, but by the world. Yet, as I basked in these new insights, I couldn't help but wonder, how would I weave the various threads of experience, both luminous and shadowed, into a narrative strong enough to withstand scrutiny? What if, in sharing, I uncovered deeper shadows lurking just out of reach? The forest hummed with life, and I stood at a crossroads filled with questions yet to be answered. What transformations awaited me on this winding path? Could the very act of sharing my fragmented truths be the key to my liberation? I took a step forward, ready to delve into the depths of my own story, open to the unknown and the power that awaited me there. What wonders might arise when I embraced my truth? What insights lurked in the shadows, yearning for release? The journey not only beckoned but compelled me to explore the vast landscape of my own becoming. As I moved deeper into the heart of the forest, the lights intensified, revealing hidden paths not just within the woodlands but also within myself. I felt an innate urge to decipher the messages imbued in the shimmering orbs that danced around me. Their luminescence pulsated with an essence that felt quintessentially Olivia's, though they held the secrets of existence itself. The fox trotted ahead, occasionally glancing back at me as if to encourage my pace. Each step forward sent whispers through the brush, carrying tales of spirits long gone and wisdom yet to be revealed. I could feel the ancient energy of this place, steeped in stories of those who had walked before me, each breath an echo of their dreams, each rustle a sigh of their trials. Suddenly the atmosphere shifted, the faint glow of the lights dimmed, and I encountered a clearing bathed in pale moonlight. It was here that I realized the lights were coalescing into a singular, larger orb suspended delicately in the air. A deeper vibrational hum emanated from it, resonating within me. I stood still, captivated, as this orb beckoned me forward. What truth lies within this radiant ball of energy? I asked, feeling a surge of expectation rise within my spirit. The fox indicated for me to engage. This light is a reservoir of potential, it explained. It embodies the energy of collective wisdom, the histories of humanity. You must ask it a question that has weighed heavily on your heart, that I considered the many facets of my existence, the unresolved desires, the dreams that felt just beyond my fingertips. Eventually, a question formed, the most pressing of all. What is the purpose of my struggles? The orb began to pulse in response, its radiant aura expanding and contracting like breath itself. Images flooded my mind. Visages of individuals facing trials from all walks of life appeared, each battling their own demons while striving toward the light. It struck me a universal truth emerged. Every struggle serves as a stepping stone to resilience, each pain a teacher fostering growth. My fabled experiences, in their raw forms, compared with those of countless others, there laid a rich tapestry of shared challenge. With a newfound insight, I could see these fragments of struggle and triumph were not mere burdens, but the very threads that wove me into the larger fabric of humanity. I felt unusually connected to those spirits, both past and present, who had faced their own lion-hearted moments, roaring back against the adversities life laid at their feet. But this revelation brought forward another question, one that did not linger in the shadows but loomed large. If all pain is purposeful, how does one find peace amid the chaos? How does one summon the courage to face their own trials without succumbing to despair? The orb radiated warmth, and its vibration sharpened. It reflected images of strength and resolve, of individuals who learned to dance with their shadows rather than fight against them. I saw a woman finding solace in nature, breathing deeply as she released her sorrows into the ether. A man stood before a towering obstacle, resolute and focused, summoning every ounce of his being to overcome it. The fox, sensing my continued contemplation, turned to me with earnest compassion. Peace arises from acceptance, not from the absence of struggle, but from the understanding that struggles will always be part of your journey. Like the orbs, they illuminate the way to self-discovery, urging you to understand your power lies not in perfection, but in vulnerability. That I let the weight of that truth settle in my heart. The knowledge that I wasn't alone in my journey brought immeasurable solace. The struggles of others reflected my own, We were all pilgrims traversing a shared path. Standing there in that moonlit clearing, I took a deep breath, embracing the duality of my existence. The light and shadow, triumph and sorrow entwined together. Yet, a lingering question continued to flutter within, a vague whisper that teased the edge of my understanding. As my gaze wandered back to the orb, I wondered, what further steps could I take to embrace the tension between my struggles and my desire to share my journey? How would this understanding catalyze my healing and ignite a passion that could inspire others? The night stretched like an open book before me, pages unfurling with potential and mystery. Every heartbeat resonated with the promise of uncovering truths deeper than I had yet fathomed. My journey, it seemed, would take me beyond mere introspection into the bold terrain of empathy and connection. Each experience, shared bravely, would create a ripple effect, illuminating the shadowed corners of many lives. What awaited me next, lurking in the depths of my own becoming? The path ahead shimmered still with questions, each beckoning me further into the wilderness of my soul. As I lingered in the moonlit clearing, the energy of the orb pulsing before me like a heartbeat, the realization seeped into my consciousness that my journey was not meant for solitude. I was to become a bridge, an avenue through which the struggles and insights of my spiritual exploration could flow into the lives of others. The fox, now sitting at my feet, seemed to sense the change in my energy, its eyes wise and knowing. Each encounter you have shapes your story, the fox spoke, its voice soothing yet potent, like an echo from the forest itself. But remember, the tapestry becomes richer when threads are intertwined. Seek those who resonate with your journey and share your discoveries. The thought ignited a spark within me. I realized I yearned to not only navigate my own challenges, but also to inspire and guide those who might find themselves lost in their struggles. Within this moonlit sanctuary, surrounded by whispers of the past, I envisioned my own contribution to the collective journey of humanity. With this burgeoning purpose, I turned again towards the orb, feeling drawn to deepen my understanding. As I gazed into its luminosity, I asked, what is the path toward sharing these truths, and how might I invoke my inner strength to help others? The orb shimmered, and suddenly, vivid scenes began to unravel before my eyes. I found myself atop a high cliff, the vast ocean sprawling beneath me, waves crashing with might against jagged rocks. I became aware of my breath, steady and deep, nurturing a growing sense of power within. A voice from within the lion's roar of truth began to rise. I saw individuals traversing their own cliffs, facing their fears, navigating grief, and embracing joy. Strength arises not just from triumphs, but from the authenticity of your journey, echoed the voice in my heart. Your vulnerability is a powerful perspective. It invites connection. Speak truthfully of where you've struggled and where you've grown. Images shifted, moments of laughter shared alongside tears, hands held through turmoil, and words of encouragement that ignited flames of hope within dim souls. I realized that invoking my inner strength meant infusing my narrative with both light and dark, a reminder that healing isn't linear but a beautiful, messy spiral. I began to feel an inner pull, an alignment of purpose and energy, guiding me forward to embrace this calling. Envisioning workshops in serene settings where I could cultivate connection through shared stories, art, and nature, my heart swelled with excitement. The prospect of guiding another through their own journey, shedding light on their shadows, exhilarated me. Yet still, a thread of uncertainty lingered. As the nocturnal solitude surrounded me, I couldn't shake the question unfurling itself in my mind. What if my vulnerabilities are too raw, too exposed? Is there courage in sharing the depths of my essence with the world? Or will it leave me more vulnerable to pain? The fox, sensing my hesitation, nudged me gently. Courage does not mean the absence of fear, it means embracing it. Your stories can scar in beautiful ways but may also heal and kindle hope in others. Every shared truth can resonate in places untouched. As rays of moonlight danced across the surface of the orb, illuminating the depths of its core, I felt a growing conviction. The energy within the clearing began to swirl, wrapping around me, and the faces of those I aimed to reach flashed through my mind, lost souls navigating their own trails of sorrow and beauty. I took another deep breath, the kind that roots you in both the past and future. Yes, courage might be born from discomfort, fostering connection through the shared human experience. Stepping into this role came with layers of complexity. Still, the essence of my journey became clearer. The journey was unfolding, infused with purpose. I sensed the next steps awaiting me beyond the veil of uncertainty. Reflecting on the lessons learned in the heart of the forest, I knew it was not simply about uncovering my strength, but about how my path could ignite and empower those around me. I could take steps to build that bridge of understanding. Now it was time to navigate the interplay of my struggles and the call to share them. And as I pondered further, a new reverberating question arose within me: what would it mean to embody that strength amidst vulnerability, drawing others toward a shared illumination? How could I illuminate their journeys in a way that invited courage and connection without fear? The forest, aglow with the mysteries still waiting to be unveiled, urged me forward. As I stepped away from the clearing, my heart raced at the unknown that lay before me, where each choice would lead me deeper into the woven tapestry of our collective human journey, echoing an eternal inquiry into courage and connection, profound and unending. As I continued along the path, my heart felt full, yet a palpable sense of anticipation welled within me. The echoes of the past resonated, intertwined with visions of the future, weaving a narrative incomprehensible, yet intoxicating. The moonlight bathed the forest in silver, illuminating shards of beauty hidden in every shadow. I walked with purpose, each step a declaration of my intent to embrace my truth. The lion's roar within was calling me to rise. With the fox now flitting beside me, a shared understanding lingered in our silences. We were united by dreams and burdens, traversing this sacred woodland of discovery, cloaked in the warmth of a powerful purpose. I knew I stood on the precipice of a profound transformation. Yet questions continued to unfurl. How would I share my story? Could my struggles resonate with others? How could I summon all the energies I had gathered to unleash not only the strength of the lion, but the gentle embrace of the meek? Suddenly, we reached a grand ancient oak, its trunk gnarled and storied, branches stretching skyward like the tenacious reach of spirit. I sensed the wisdom embedded within its roots, urging me to pause and listen. As I placed my hand against the rugged bark, a rush of memories surged through me, fragments of my journey condensed into a single moment of clarity. That in that instant, the sights and sounds of the forest dimmed. I felt the earth pulse beneath me, aligning my heart with the heartbeat of the universe. I saw faces again, the faces of my ancestors, individuals who had weathered their storms with resilience, mirroring my fight, their spirit intricately woven into my OWN.IT was the spirit of the oak that spoke without words, its essence enveloping me like the embrace of an old friend. I heard echoes of laughter and sorrow, moments of fierce struggle, and silent victories resounding. Here lay my revelation. To share my truth was to honor those through whom I had come, to weave the stories of our journeys into a single, resounding harmony. Here was my purpose, so delicately wrapped in vulnerability and strength. The lion within me stirred, sensing the gravity of this realization. I could feel the weight of fear that once straddled my heart begin to lift. With it came an exhilarating wave of liberation. It dawned on me I had been afraid of my own power. Yet it was in facing the depths of my own story that I would unearth the resonance of compassion, the strength in storytelling. As if sensing my newfound resolve, the oak's branches swayed gently as if in agreement. In that profound stillness, I understood. By embracing both my struggles and triumphs, the shadows would recede, and I would find an unbreakable connection to others navigating their own tumultuous passages. Each tale, I realized, was an invitation for empathy, each moment of raw honesty a torch illuminating the path for another wandering soul, sometimes lost in the dark. And so I decided each workshop I envisioned, each circle I would gather, would be a sanctuary where stories flowed like the waters of that resplendent waterfall. We would embrace imperfections, celebrate our scars, and honor our triumphs as part of the grand symphony of existence. Strength would not be a singular roar but a chorus of voices intertwined, a dance of shadows and light echoing through the souls who dared to share. As I awakened to this profound truth, I thanked the oak, me ally in revelation. In its ancient wisdom, the reminder was clear. To awaken was to acknowledge connection, to relish the dance of vulnerability and strength without fear, to embrace all of oneself, a lion and a nurturer intertwined. With renewed energy surging like sunlight breaking through the canopy, I turned to leave the grove, the fox at my side, its eyes sparkling with mischief and approval. As we walked side by side, I felt the vibrations of the universe harmonizing with each footfall. The path lay ahead, carved by curiosity and illuminated by courage, was ripe with possibility. Stepping into my power, the lion's roar was ready to echo into the world, intertwining with gentle compassion. For in embracing our stories, we become the protectors of one another. In the tapestry of life, our greatest strength lies not merely in the roar, but in the beauty of our collective journey. And as I took the next step forward, a warm breeze caressed my face, carrying with it the promise of a new beginning. This was more than an awakening. This was my invitation to embrace all of who I was and to share it with the world that I in the depths of my heart. I know we are all lions, each of us roaring our truth, weaving the intricacies of our stories into the great fabric of existence, and in this, we find unity, understanding, and love.